Good morning, church. My wife and I have been having this discussion about age. I am approaching my mid 40s, and I have resisted the term middle aged. Now, she will really quickly turn to me and say, like, that just sounds like middle age if you're resisting being called middle aged. Hold on. I am not young. I am an adult, or at least age-wise, chronologically, I fit. I kind of was like kind of resisting middle age, which is like solidly mid 40s. I just feel like there needs to be a time where you're no longer young, but it's not like this approaching doom. Well, part of the reason for that, part of the reason of the resistance is what I noticed is when you hit middle age, uh, there are statistics that is the hardest point. Like you bottom out in terms of like joy. uh, and there's lots of reasons for that. You're in the part of your career that's somewhat the hardest. You start if you had kids, sometimes they're getting older and you have to run them around a lot more. Parents, you usually you got aging parents who are either getting sick or maybe needing more care. So there's just a lot that weighs on you in your middle aged. Friends are harder and harder to come by. You're so busy with your kids, your parents, your career or job that there just really isn't any free time, no individual time. And I say this as I'm recording, I'm preparing for my youngest's 7th birthday. And one of the things, like we put together this list of who he wanted to be at his birthday party. And one of the people he wanted to invite was his namesake. We named my youngest after my childhood best friend. We met the first day of first grade. And I think about the over 30 years I've known this guy. Like, I am closer to knowing him 40 years than 30. And I have, in the course of my life, we've come in and out of closeness. He's coming Friday, well, today, when this gets distributed, to come say hi. And I get to root for this guy for nearly my entire life, at least most of my conscious life. I don't have a whole lot of memories before first grade. And this, as I approach middle age, this is an upside I couldn't possibly have fathomed when I was 20, 30, is knowing someone and rooting for someone for this long. And the reason why it strikes me is because I've been so mobile in my life. I have had to stop what I'm doing and change, whether that was going from high school to college, college to grad school to church. And then every couple of years, I've had to switch churches. So I haven't had like a longevity. And maybe this is more part of a church life, especially long term members. You get to see someone baptized some Sunday, and then you saw them read on a Sunday morning, do the scripture reading. Maybe they got confirmed on the Sunday you happen to make it. They go off to they're high schoolers, and you don't see much of them. Or they come back with, they go off to college or work, and they come back with a baby. You've been rooting for this little one their whole life. I think that's an incredible testimony of what church is always meant to be rooting for one another. Even when you're not here, we're looking for you. We miss you. Ugh, my friends, how my challenge to a church would be to shrink the amount of time it takes from your first Sunday being someone who's being looked for. If someone were to attend Spirit of Hope, how long does it take before enough people know their name that they're missed? Because frankly, of all the people, when I know somebody and I know that they've come or they've come a handful of times, I'm looking for them, praying for them, I'm rooting for them. I started ending the services saying, I can't wait to hear how this affects you. how this day, what stories you'll come back with. And we only get to know it if we stick around. Yeah, that's not the truth. So may you have sticky faith. May you have a sticky community. But through the ups and downs of outrageous fortune that we face in this time and in this world, you might know that you are surrounded by a community of love that is inspired by the very God who created everything. Blessings. I'll see you Sunday.